Hi guys, welcome straight to News TV. Ian here with Stoke preview, and we're going to start off with chat from Louis van Gaal's press conference. Who saw him actually being there? Touch of class would have been to let him out of his misery beforehand. Not like I've tweeted from the account before. We put him in the firing line in the crosshairs of the media and basically to be shot at. And to be fair, in actual fact, he's gone fucking right back at them with what 4 minutes 58, I think it was clocked at. Anyways, tonight I'm being joined by Steve. How are we doing, Steve?
Yeah, good mate. Thanks for having me as always.
It's quality. I'm going to get you and your friend's opinion from a Stoke perspective, because you was absolutely adamant we were going to fucking disappear with them. We'd have been absolutely blitzed off the park by them. United are just tweeting, watching about the pre-match press conference. It's a very fucking short video if you want to put that up. And Joey's joined us, although he's come as a different character.
How you doing, Ian?
I'm not too bad. What happened to the mask? What's going on?
It's too hot. Star Wars fever struck everybody around the world, so hopefully I can use my powers, my mind tricks on Louis van Gaal, and he can play some exciting attacking football this weekend.
It'd be so much better with the fucking mask on. Right. But yeah. Well, someone's going to be making some fucking mind tricks. But look, what does he do? Why? So I'm going to start with his press conference. To me, he just still looked defeated. He looked like he was sat there sweating. Like, Manchester's been quite sunny, warm. Well, I wouldn't say warm today. It's been dry, but it's been about 5 degrees. It's not that fucking hot. Unless you've been just absolutely moulding down mulled wine when he had breakfast this morning at Rooney's house, who clearly has had like 4 fucking Christmas dinners before they went to training. What the fucking hell is he doing? Just piling on timber already. So that's going to fucking help on Boxing Day. But yeah, talking of the press conference, it lasted fucking barely 5 minutes. Louis van Gaal stormed out. No, he walked out. The press loved that. I did see X amount of press from different newspapers. Louis van Gaal stormed out. 10 minutes later, when they'd all realised that he didn't storm out, they all changed it to walked out. I was like, yeah, there we go. And that's why Louis van Gaal's made a good point about the press, being the press. But we all get wrapped up in these things. We did on Sunday about him going out. I'm still of the belief that he is up for the sack, no matter what the Stoke and Chelsea games bring, unless Louis van Gaal, Woodward's bottled it and gone, you know what, we'll give him another chance. But we'll see. By asking the press to apologise for the things that they've written in the press over the past couple of weeks, Steve. Would you expect this from a Louis van Gaal that's been around the block, especially Europeans, biggest clubs, to not be able to deal with the pressure of the size of United as a club, and also the press speculation when results don't go his way? Because it's happened at previous clubs, for instance, Bayern, where he's not had the results go his way. So I got a bit befuddled by the fact that he came out and sort of like expected an apology for some sort of strange reason.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think quite famous. I think in his Barcelona days, and the first time he ended up leaving, he was teary-eyed and said to the press, "You've got your wish," that he was going to go. He's never had a great relationship with the press, purely because of obviously. He believes in his philosophy, he believes in his way of thinking, and anyone questions it, and he sticks up for himself. I completely agree. I thought it was a bit strange. He wanted apologies. Like you say, you blinked and the press conference was over. Does he look and feel like a dead man walking? Yeah. I think it's written all over his face. Like you say, I think people do expect him to go within the next week. And I can't think of two worse games for him, to be honest, than Stoke, and looked like a revitalised Chelsea at the minute to sort of save his job, and just had a sort of a sad feeling about it, really. But yeah, like you say, people say he stormed out and it just gets overreacted. I think he even wished him probably a Merry Christmas, have some wine, have a nice bit of mince pie, and then he just strolled off. But yeah, we know that's Louis van Gaal. But yeah, it just, from, like I say, from the bits that I've seen, just felt a little bit strange and a little bit sad watching it, in all fairness.
Yeah, I thought it was a strange sort of situation with he did wish them, and he said that he'd see them in 2016, which was another indication of, like, has he really got the he sort of, I can't remember his exact wordings on it, but he sort of, maybe I will, maybe I won't, sort of. So you didn't have that full confidence in him. Like, if this had been Fergie and he'd have gone at the press, like as you'd expect Louis van Gaal has today, but he'd have gone in with F words, and we got comments below the Sunday's show, effing this and effing that and effing the other. Guess what? This is straight news. It's not full-time devils or the other ones that think they're all professional idiots. This is about opinions, real fans, and having some absolute fun with it while we want to do it. So yeah, the swearing's allowed. I'm not expecting you to be showing you under 10-year-olds this sort of content, so let's be with that idea. But yeah, this is Louis van Gaal, and you would have expected him, if it was Fergie, we'll go back to that point, if it was Fergie, he'd have gone at the press, but would have also tried to motivate his players into a way and motivate the fans to get behind him. If his back was up against the wall so far as it is in this situation. There was none of that from Louis van Gaal. He said, yes, I've spoke to the players, I've spoke to his backroom staff, he's got some backing, he's had phone calls from Woodward, from David Gill and Sir Alex. How much that translates into actual backing from the club becomes a bit of it becomes the situation of silence from the club becomes more deafening the longer it goes on, without them coming out and backing him publicly if they're not going to sack him. And that's the whole thing, is we didn't expect to be sat here after his press conference on Thursday night, on Wednesday night even, saying that we've got Louis van Gaal in charge. But, and I think this has just been the class of, like I said before, the class of United at the moment. It's disappeared from 2013 when Fergie left. And it translates into the fans as well. I was listening to Red Wednesday but just before I finished work, and they had Andy Richell, Lou Macari, Scott McGarvey, obviously a very good friend of the channel, and all three said the same thing about not remembering the days of being booed even when results weren't going their way. Yeah, we're talking Division 1, and I go back to the 70s, 80s for results like that, and those players played in that era. And yeah, I think booing's classless. I think it's not the United way. And they hinted at the same thing then, which I found really frustrating. But talking on that fighting spirit then, Joey, would you expected to see more of this from Louis van Gaal in a sense where, right, well, we're going to really have a go at this and try and rile the fans to get behind the team, never mind if they were going to get behind him, because I think that's what our feeling as fans seems to be now, coming out of on the back of this, is that we go to Stoke and there'll be a nice following going down to Stoke on Boxing Day for the 12:45 kickoff. They'll all be up early, probably still hungover from Christmas Day, and they'll go and support the lads on the pitch. And it'll be one of those sort of things where it should be that way. And I think that he should have put an element of that in his press conference. Are you surprised not to see that, Joey?
Well, I saw a really great tweet today, and it said, when Louis van Gaal first arrived at Manchester United, he used to dictate the press conferences, and now the journalists in the press conferences are kind of dictating him. I didn't expect him, he came out today defeated. I don't know. I think he's just annoyed. Look, there's a chance that this is all drum up by the paper, and his job is really safe. Because if you look at it, on the back of it, they didn't sack Moyes until top 4 was completely unachievable. He's in the Europa League. He's, 6-7 points off the trees. And I think that what's going on is just a perfect storm of bad form. The player's not up for it. Key injuries all over the pitch. And some tough games. I mean, come on. Against Bournemouth, a corner goes in off the wind. I think as fans, we want him to come into that press conference and show that fighting spirit. But, there's only one way he can get the fans back on side, and that's to come out and attack and play exciting football, get everything going in the right direction. So I think, he came into this press conference annoyed. I mean, every paper's got him sacked or Mourinho's coming in, and he's reading all these things. If he does get the call from Fergie and David Gaal, I didn't know that David Gaal was Spanish. Is that the dreaded vote of confidence?
Did I say David Gill?
No, you didn't. He did.
All right. I was about to say, I'm sure I called him David Gill. I've called him lot worse things than that David Gill, but I've never called him David Gill.
No, he called him David Gill. He said, I got David Gill calling me Woodward, Sir Alex Ferguson, and hopefully what they're doing, maybe they're receiving the backing. Hopefully, I know he's a stubborn guy. Hopefully he's taking some advice from Sir Alex, a guy that's been there, he's been through it, his first 3 years wasn't too completely successful, you know what I'm getting at. And these meetings with the players, you're hoping, me and Steve were talking about it. Steve doesn't think so, and I probably don't think so, but it's more of a hope that, these players are honest with him, and they tell him, this isn't the way we want to play, and, he's going to lose his job eventually. I think that's got to become a reality to him. Will it? I have no idea. Does he look defeated? Maybe you could spin it that way. I think he's just a guy that's annoyed and frustrated, and maybe the inevitable is that he will be sacked, but we'll just have to wait and see. But the only way he gets the fans back on sides is if the results change, and not just the results, he's got to do it in style. That's what this club's about, winning in style. And surely, if he doesn't realize that, then he truly is the most stubborn man in the world. If he comes out and plays the same way this weekend, then there's no hope. For him, at least.
Yeah, the whole style and philosophy I wanted to get into, in actual fact, because since Sunday night, we had Monday Night Football, and I picked up on the part that they did on United. Carragher, for some strange reason, actually made some sense for once, and Thierry Henry, despite his fucking sometimes chatting absolute bullshit, came up with some absolute corkers on Guardiola and his style of play that he was taught by Van Gaal, and the way that he sets up about how everyone's strict and stays to their positions with the first 2/3 of the pitch, and how that they're allowed then, once the ball is into the final third, they're allowed to go out and express their freedom and stuff. And he showed 3 different examples that led to 3 different goals. And yes, he might have been highlighting 2 of the goals where he played out wide, which in actual fact was strange because he was backing to play Martial up the top. And eventually, as we know, Henry came to Arsenal. And Henry played up top for Arsenal, so I thought that was a bit of a strange sort of thing. But we knew where he was going. He was talking about how wide players, for instance, did I'd put Valencia back in at right wing if we ever got the fucking chance to play him again, and letting them have some roaming sort of credential. I've banged on about Lingard, the only one that seems to want to fucking forget what Louis van Gaal said to him before he goes on the pitch, and he just likes to run and stuff. And I think that's the freedom. And let's go back to the Liverpool game at the start of the season. Martial did that, expressing himself in the final third, and we went on to win 3-1. So where did he lose that? Which really sort of frustrates me. Has he become too scared of the Premier League? Has he grown to think, hang on a minute, this is a lot more tougher than he thought it was going to be, and we need to be so much more defensive that it restricts how we attack because there's just no creativity. Carragher picked up on Mata, and I can't remember who was alongside him during the last match, but just stood stationary. And going on to Stoke, Louis van Gaal's got to change something. You'd hope to think that he's going to do that, Steve. But what does he change? Like I had this conversation before the West Ham match last week. West Ham Norwich match. I was thinking West Ham for a start. I was looking at before the Norwich match last week, and I said about taking out one of those holding midfielders and giving them more freedom further up the midfield and trying to create something. Is that a way that he can change something with just a small change like that, and it could be effective, or does he need to really sort of say to the players, just go out and do what you want, really? In a forward attacking sense, I meant, not in a defensive way.
Yeah, I think it might.
Chris Smalling already gets fucking fired up the field without him trying to play fucking centre forward all match.
I think it might be a bit risky. Like we know, watching United, I mean, especially the past few weeks and months, there's zero confidence in the side anyway. If United are going to get a result, it's going to be ground out. It isn't going to be. There's one place you can't go and free flowing football and attack them is down at the Britannia. The pitch ain't big enough. It's windy as fuck. It's a shithole, and they won't one and another one. They won't let you. And I mean that's what United have got to deal with. That's why I said Van Gaal couldn't really, for me, have two worse games. Chelsea got a new manager on Monday, and Stoke aren't doing too bad. And like you say, over the festive period, I mean they can smell blood on United, and football-wise, ready to go. Like I say, I just think it's going to have to be, the game's just going to have to be nicked from somewhere. It isn't going to be spectacular. But I think if you ask any United fan at the minute, do you want to see us playing spectacular football? I think, yeah, exactly long term, but not over the Christmas period. Get the results and then move on. We've got 2 games in 2 days, and probably 2 of the worst games. You can imagine Chelsea is still the champions. I know they're garbage, but you've still got them at home on Monday night, and everyone hates going to Stoke anyway. I mean, I'll admit it's a shithole, but like I say, I don't know what else he can do, mate. To be fair, hopefully a lot of the players that started on the bench on Saturday come back in, because they make United more of a threat and a lot more solid. But yeah, it's going to be an hell of a game.
Surprising that you actually say about that, because we've won 4 of 6 games we've played against Stoke. Obviously, those 6 games will include 3 away home matches. But just going through the stats: 60% possession, pass accuracy miles further up. I'm not presuming this is including Louis van Gaal's one from last week, from last season, not last week. But I just. You tweeted your friend, the Stoke fan, for a prediction, and you was expecting him to come back with an absolute more, and he came back with 0-0 or 1-0, and I was like, to be honest, actual fact, when you look at their team, they have been playing doof up front, for fuck's sake. So yeah, you can see why they've got. But his stat that he tweeted us was something like their game against West Ham was 21 shots and only 4 on target. And I nearly replied to him saying, "Well, at least you've had 21 fucking shots, because we've even had fucking 4, mate." So.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. To be fair, he's a good lad. He's a lot. He won't be one of them brash. I work with a lot of them, and they're going, "Yeah, you're going to get done 2, 3, 4-0, like what?" Because they beat City a few weeks ago. But yeah, like yourself, if you've watched a few of the games recently, it's a completely different Stoke side, and you'd probably say RM stats they rival us. Like you said at the start of the show, they don't score that many goals. Neither do we. I mean, ever since Shawcross has come back for them the last 7-8 games, they haven't really conceded many. I know there was a bit of a bad result on Saturday, but saying that, United had a bad result at home on Saturday as well. So I mean, it's one of them. That's why I think it'll be a bit of a tight game. But I'm hoping it's a tight game. I don't fancy being on I don't fancy the meltdown on Boxing Day and from United fans with another shocking result. But yeah, I was a bit surprised, but yeah, he's done us a solid there, mate. Just predict 0-0 or Stoke nick it 1-0.
Well, fair play to him. Yeah, a lot of other fans would have actually gone running around with their heads up their asses and gone, yeah, going to run over these just like Norwich did. To be fair, in actual facts, that wasn't the full story of that Norwich match. If we all get back to it in a bit of hindsight, Joey, talking to this Stoke team, I'm just looking at the predicted one from WhoScored.com. Johnson, Shawcross, Steve mentioned Charlie Adams, Bojan, Juve up front. They've got not a bad team on what you think of like Premier League players. Got a good mix of experience. A couple of the youth players in there, younger players as well. And Artovic was a name that bobbed up to on the Twitter feed when he asked people for what they thought of the game for questions for tonight, and someone mentioned Artovic. Any other potentials apart from him that you could see that would actually do a thorn in their side, apart from Juve scoring and we losing 1-0?
You know, it's funny, because Juve gets tons of fucking chances, but his finishing is just fucking shit. I mean, if he had any bit of finishing, he'd be up there and you know, top couple scorers. No, I think you know, Bojan is probably the one that worries. Being so creative. Arnautovic, I think that was against City. He almost had a hat trick. You know, he scored 2 goals early and quick. You know, they're a tough team, and you know the thing I admire about him is that Mark Hughes gets them ready for it. I know. I appreciate that about Mark Hughes. You know, he gets Stoke. You know, they know what they're good at, and they don't, you know, try and do too much. And they're doing all right. You know, they're in the semifinal of the Capital One Cup. You know, they're only 6 points behind us. There's, you know, the table's tight right now. But yeah, I think Arnautovic and Bojan are the ones you have to look out for. And even Shaqiri. I mean, Shaqiri came from Bayern Munich. He's not, you know, no slap footballer. He's starting to adjust to the league, and he's starting to play even better than he, you know, before. So I think those are the main worries. Look, I think it'll be similar to the Norwich game. You know, it seems like this is the blueprint to beat United. You know what? You want to have all the possession you want? Have loads of it. Because we know in the final third, you're just going to pass it out wide and cross it in. And they have Shawcross in there, who's good in the air to defend. And who are we crossing the ball into? Fellaini is our only target man in there. You know, great player, but the ball's better at his feet than his head. So I think you're just going to see Stoke sit back and counterattack us, and we'll lose 1-0, like Steve Mate said. However, you know, you would like to think Louis van Gaal is going to do something different, but like Steve said, the 2 worst games ever you could have over this little period, because Stoke away, like he said, shitty conditions, small pitch, and then Chelsea are a revitalized team. You know, they're don't be surprised if they storm up the table. They did what they wanted. They got Mo out, you know, and now they're going to start playing football again, which is embarrassing.
It is, and slightly more embarrassing in the fact that, you know, if you'd have wanted a reaction from Mourinho in the sense that he can hit back straight away, you would want to try and put him straight back in that sort of sense. I'm just actually looking at the previous Stoke results that we've had against them. The last time we played them was New Year's Day this year, so in actual back to Christmas, and that was a 1-1 draw at the Britannia. So a 1-1 prediction might not be too bad on the basis that we want more than 1 point. But previous to that, we played them under Moyes and 1-2 at home. But previous, and yeah, what the hell was that? Oh yeah, it's the same year. But we also lost again at Stoke 2-1. So yeah, the Britannia could, actual facts, as you've mentioned, Steve, it's an absolute nightmare of a stadium to play in, with the corners all opened up, and the current wind, the current weather at the moment is just dire and drizzly and windy. Another, what would they call it? Some sort of foreign matter going on in a minute. But yeah, there's storms blowing in past us overnight tonight. So yeah, Boxing Day could be an absolutely horrendous one. We mentioned just before we started on there about bringing in Fellaini. because of their height situation, and obviously they got Crouch out. So that sort of helps in a sense that you've got not someone of a similar height to mark him. I thought he's been pretty much ineffective for the past couple of games that he's played. Would you advocate putting him back in just for the fact that we can put that height advantage in and lofting balls up in the wind?
Yeah, I think games like that are made for Fellaini. There aren't many a season. Like you say, I'm not a huge lover of him. I'd be surprised if he doesn't start and Mata does, in all fairness, because it isn't that sort of environment. And Fellaini will never be box to box. But like you say, the pitch isn't that big that he can probably cause a threat. But I think that's going to be our only outlet there, probably there anyway, lumping balls up into the box. And like you say, hopefully he gets in there. But I got to be honest. I think the last few times we've played Stoke, they've. I remember we had them twice last season under Van Gaal. We always seem to have them similar time. We had them in December at Old Trafford, and we were hanging on. The last, I'd say, 10 minutes, Young was clearing them off the line. They were unlucky there. The New Year's Day one last year, Falcao scored. Evans was getting run ragged. Rooney was in centre midfield, just smacking balls into the touch. And it was another shocking game. And I think we were probably lucky to get away with a 1-1 draw that day. Like you say, even under Moyes. Moyes lost there, and that ended 4 for me, I think. I thought we were too far behind. I think the only time we've gone down there and looked decent was in, I think it was the Capital One Cup. I think Moyes went there and won 2-0. Evra and Young got a couple of crackers that night, but it really isn't one of them where you'd say, I'm confident of going there and beating these. Like you say, I hope I'm wrong. I'd love a win. I'd love something to shout about locally, and United get 3 points on the board and move on from that. But yeah, like I say, I mean, Fellaini for me. I think if there's games to be played for Fellaini in a season, I'd mark Stoke away as, and that's a calendar game for him. Like I say, I'll be shocked if Mata plays and Fellaini doesn't.
Yeah, what we say about Fellaini, and ironically, it's Route 1 lofted ball football. It's Everton-esque. Back to those days, as we mentioned before. I'm surprised you did not get it in before we came me started. Steve was like, "It's Everton-esque. It's Moyes. It's ironically Moyes. What the fuck's going on?" So yeah, it's in that sort of mould. Any other tactical change you can think of, Joey, that might give us a bit of an edge apart, to try and get these 3 points, to get this doom and gloom off that seems to be hanging over with pretty much for the past couple of months? And it's Christmas, for God's sake. We've got Chelsea coming up, and I might as well start eating now and drinking.
Look, I think I agree about Fellaini. Tailor-made game, but the problem, is also I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, is he going to bench Carrick? Because he probably will play, that similar 4-1-4-1, I think. I think Schneiderlin needs to play that CDM. He needs to be that one behind the 4. And I don't think he's going to play Herrera and Fellaini in there. I think that's what we should do. I think Carrick should go to the bench because I don't think he's been that great. And I think tactically, predictable. Just spice it up, change something, because like I was saying earlier when I was talking previous, we know, Stoke knows what we're going to do. We're going to come there, going to win all the possession, get to the final third, put it out wide, put a shitty cross in, and then get counterattacked. It's been this way for this whole, poor run. Teams just sit back and defend, and even last year, that was Van Gaal's problem. He could beat the big teams because the big teams are going to come out and they're going to play you. But, when you play the little teams, it's just the same old. So I think, yeah, you need to change up. You need to be a bit unpredictable. I'd like to see us try and counter. You can give up possession. We don't have to have a stranglehold on possession in the game. If he nicked a 1-0 on the counterattack, I think we'd all be happy because we need the 3 points. That's what's most important. There'll be times to play sexy, attractive football. Maybe Saturday isn't one of them. It just, at this time, that's what we want. And, I think more than that, we need the 3 points. So, yeah, I would play Fellaini. I would play Martial and out wide with Memphis. It's just this is the problem with the summer. I know, Steve, myself, and everybody I've ever talked to, we were so disappointed because we felt like there was a huge lack of squad depth in this team, and you're seeing that now. We're not even we're at Christmas, and the injury problem and the lack of squad depth have already, probably gotten rid of our title chances. So now we're all talking like, we'll be happy with top 4 because, we're going to go into January and the players that we need aren't going to be available. So, it's just frustrating. It is. But yeah, as for tactically, it's got to do something different. Got to change it up. Not be so predictable. Try. Giving them a little bit more freedom to move around, not be so static and stuck to their position. Let them roam around the final third, like you said that Henri pointed out. I saw that. You can be disciplined up to that final third, but then let them off the leash because that's the only way that you're going to climb up the table. Because, like I said, we're just way too predictable.
Yeah, I was trying to advocate on that idea before about maybe changing something up to make it different.
Do you see him, honestly, I wanted to ask you and Steve that, do you see him playing Herrera and Fellaini in the midfield? No, he's probably going to play with 2 defensive midfielders.
Oh yeah, well, just part of his problem, that stubbornness, just really frustrates me. And I think it frustrates a lot of United fans. I was going to pick score predictions, but it's pretty much going to be similar. We'd all go for a lovely, nice 1-0 win if we was all asked today. Depending on the team news come Saturday, we might all be happy with a fucking 0-0 draw. But I think that's the problem, is the fact that we're just so negative at the moment. And it stems from the fans and it stems from the football that we're seeing, that I just wish that we could all forget about the management situation for a second. Let's try and get behind the lads on the pitch, and let's try and, even if we sort of show some sort of improved performance that shows some more attacking intent and take some risks, then I think a lot of people will be quite happy if we did get a 0-0 at the end of the day. Although it'll probably seal Louis van Gaal's fate. But on the sad and sorry notes of Stoke away on Boxing Day, and the misery that it's always going to be, we've waffled on for too much now, but I'm going to end the video here, guys. Thanks for everyone that's helped us throughout 2015. I'm going to wish you all a happy Christmas and all the best for 2016. We may be back over the Christmas period. I'm not entirely sure. Jonathan's off to Stoke, so there's an away day vlog on the way. Dale's coming over to Manchester for the Swansea match, so there's going to be some antics to keep up with over that. So yeah, just keep it tuned straight to News TV. Use the subscribe button if you love our content. We're hoping to get some more regular stuff, hopefully in the new year when things ease off. Serge gets back from dislocating his things when he's on holiday and his honeymoon. So yeah, just keep it stuff. Give us a thumbs up because I loved all those thumbs ups from Sunday's video. And from everyone here at Straight News TV, best Christmas, and we will see you in not too distant future, possibly in 2016 with a different manager. Who goes? Come on, United!